I call to order the March 25th meeting of the Student Government Association. We are live streamed and recording. Please review your agenda while Jacob does roll call.
Nicholas Colombo. Here. Anderson Dallaire. Isabella Moniz.
Here.
William Connor.
Here.
Travis McLaughlin.
Here.
Rahul Rosario. Brendan Giuliani. Aviano Lee Salters. Jacob Trainer. Cody Hoisington.
Here.
Sophia Rubinchek. Melissa Krasmeski.
Here.
Raymond Croto.
Here.
Barney Garcia.
Here.
Ethan Mollinson. Ollie Sutherland.
Here.
Troy Noso.
Here.
Angelina Casella.
Here.
Marissa Montero. Isabella Centrella.
Here.
SAC Representative. Christopher Lannon.
Here.
Irene Mahida.
Here.
Benny Rosas. Evelyn Aiello. Dominic Zyko. Roshana.
Are there any corrections to the minutes from the March 18th meeting of the Student Government Association? Seeing none, all in favor to approve the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Minutes approved.
And now for your President's report, Joseph Bonilla.
Give me a second, y'all. Wonderful. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Wonderful. How are we doing today?
Great.
How are we doing today?
Good.
Good. Great. Love the energy. Great. So today we have two wonderful guest speakers. I'm going to introduce our Chief of Staff here, Dr. Michael Freeman, so that they can introduce our main guest for the day, Jen Scumaci from the Strategic Planning Committee, helping vision all of this, and they've been working really hard. I saw them earlier taking in information, getting people to fill out surveys. So please give them their time, and please make sure to ask questions and answer anything they may have. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Freeman.
Good evening. Love the energy. Do they make you all do that, or this is just something you do on your own? You do it all. I love it. We're here this evening. With me is Jen Scumaci from SME Consulting. They're actually out of Vancouver, but Jen just drove in from New Hampshire, so she's close by. They are strategic plan facilitators. And many of you know that the university launched a new strategic plan last year in February. Several students were part of that. A number of faculty and staff were also part of it. And for 3 days, they spent time brainstorming, thinking through issues led by Jen, and came up with some concepts for us to take a look at. Now, why do we do this? And I think I came last year to talk a little bit about strategic planning. Universities always get it in their minds, like businesses, that there are things that we need to do better. And we take the time to look at ourselves, kind of inspect what have we done? Are we doing it well? And then what do we want to do going forward? Now, interestingly, things happen that impact that. And some of you may be aware that there was a strategic plan in place, and then COVID hit, changed everything. And so now the way strategic planning is being done has also been impacted by that. So even when you look at this and you think, well, here's a 5-year plan, don't think of it as really 5 years. Because we're gonna take the plan year by year. We're gonna take a look at it. When you look at the goals and objectives in there, there are action items that still need to be built. And the action items are gonna be annual items. So when you look at the goal is the big thing that we wanna do, that we wanna accomplish. The objectives support that in some way. The action is where it happens. We're gonna need your help on the action, especially those of you who are gonna be around for a few years, to say, here are some things really important for us is, where should we start? There are 4 goals. We really only wanted 3 goals, but higher ed, we have a hard time kind of cutting back. I mean, if you really let higher ed go, we probably have 10, 15 goals in this document. But we got to 4 goals that we want to focus on. What needs to happen? You will see in the objectives really, really big things that we're planning, that we'd like to do. Do you think we can do them within 5 years? Is it realistic? Is it feasible? Do we have the money to do it? These are all questions that we will keep asking ourselves, and we'll ask ourselves these questions every year. Has anyone had a chance to even really look at the strategic plan? I know you all are busy, you have other things to do.
Dan does.
Well, I know Dan has probably rewritten it by now. But if you get a chance to at least look at the goal and the statements that we have around the goals, what we'd like to do, that would really be helpful. We also have a survey, and where are the cards? Okay, and I have some cards in the back too. I need to pull out that have a QR code on there that will ask. It's a short survey, so you don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. Just to query what you think about what we're saying about the plan and where we'd like to go, where we'd like to take Westfield in the future. So I'll stop right now, and Jen, I don't know if you want to make a few comments, and we can pick it up from there.
Hey everyone, so I'm Jen Scumaci with SME Strategy Consulting. How many of you are here tonight?
I'm here.
Who's not here? Okay, cool, good.
Present instead of here. Important distinction.
Important distinction. Well, and how many of you wish that someone had really invested some time before you got here to be planful about what your time here would be like? Right? So that's kind of the opportunity before y'all right now. And as Dr. Freeman said, we came together last year as a campus community. There were students, faculty, staff in the planning room, but even before that, we held focus groups, we had surveys, we were trying to collect as much input from various corners of the university community around what's working, what's not working, what do you see as the vision for the university in the next 5 years, and what are some actions that you'd like to see taken to get there, right? And so we collected a ton of input and gave that input to this committee representative of campus and spent together 3 days designing these goals that you see, right? So what you have, and Dr. Freeman's passing around right now, sort of an abbreviated version of these goals. You'll also notice in the lobby, these goals are stated on banners that are hanging out, okay? And so ultimately, my goal being on campus this week, number 1, is to help get the word out about what these goals are and why they're important. Number 2 is to engage with you around what they mean for you and get some feedback from you. So we've got 3 ways you can provide feedback on these. So as Dr. Freeman said, on these postcards he's handing out and on a few table tents that are floating around the room and will be in the lobby for you, there's a QR code where you can take a survey. The surveys take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and it's just asking for your input on these goals. The second way you can provide feedback is in the lobby next to the goal banners. There are 4 easels, and each easel has a different question on it. You can grab a Post-it, grab a pen, and put some thoughts and just leave them on the newsprint there for us, and I'll be collecting those throughout the week while we're here. And the third way is to just talk to us. I am going to be here all day tomorrow and all day Thursday, just hanging out, and happy to have a conversation with anyone who has questions or wants some more information about how this all came to be. So the phase that we're in right now is what we call post-strategic planning stakeholder engagement, where the goals have been designed, and now we're coming back to say, hey, give us some more input. What do you think? And what's it gonna take to really move this forward? Okay, after this, the next step in the process is to take all of your feedback and provide it back to the president's cabinet and make sure that all of it's considered as we move into action. Okay, so this is a really critical point in the process where your feedback, your input's really important. Happy to actually spend some time right now if anyone has thoughts, questions, concerns you'd like to share now. Dr. Freeman and I can address them.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for our speakers? Irina Mahida?
Hi, thank you for coming. One thing I would recommend, maybe if this is possible, you guys could do more so with, it's not like classes that are offered at other institutions and also have some type of credit exchange, because I think that sometimes with course loads, there could be not enough challenge or diversity in terms of classes here. So opening the door to other institutions could support students in other areas.
Okay, so I think what I heard was a comment around looking at what other institutions offer in terms of classes, diversity of classes, and looking to see how they can potentially be brought here. That's a great piece of feedback to capture, and I think connects with quite a few of the goals in terms of tactical action. So thank you for that. I thought I saw a hand here.
Evelyn Ayala?
Yeah, so with regard to the other institutions question, I think it's important to offer some other classes. For example, French is one class I want to take next year, and I'm likely going to have to register at Holyoke Community College to take that course just because it's not offered here. I also think it'd be interesting if we could look into credit exchange things for courses that are not offered here, and maybe let students at other schools who don't have like courses that we offer here, but they don't have it at their school, come over here, similar to the 5 College Consortium up in like the Amherst area. I think that would be really cool if we could look into that.
Sure. Thank you, Evelyn.
So one of the things we do in higher education, and I'll just let you know that we're not really good at, is we'll say something or we'll write something that really means a whole lot of other things. So when you look at the first goal, for example, and the first goal relates to innovative learning. Does that mean? I had an alarm on. I knew where that came from. Okay, I'm sorry. The first goal relates to innovative learning. And one of the things we have discovered is we're not taking advantage of all of the possibilities that we have in this region. It is not spelled out. If it's not spelled out specifically or clearly, that's one of the things that we need to work on. So what I'm hearing is specific courses that we need to start offering, and also taking advantage of all of the relationships between universities and colleges in this area. I've heard it told, I've only been in this area for 3 years, but prior to coming, this was called the Knowledge Corridor, or have you all heard this? Intellectual Corridor, up and down 90 with Holyoke and Amherst, and all the way down to Wesleyan. Well, Westfield was included in that as well, as and the universities that are in Springfield. So we're not really connecting to those other institutions as we should, and that's one of the things our president wants to do moving forward.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman. Are there any further questions, comments, concerns for the speakers? Ollie Sutherland? Oh, I'm sorry, was there someone? Christopher Landon.
Hi, so I'm kind of tag teaming off Dan, something he put in the SGA chat, so feel free if I miss any information to give points of information or say it sort of build off of what I'm saying. But I think it was in the team chat that I've seen a lot too on campus requested is more sort of interactive experiences within your major, whether that be placements, am I doing good so far? Placements, practicums, sort of hands-on experiences that you can go into, not just in like sort of intensive major like social work or education and nursing, but sort of experiences that you can do while you're in college still, so you can know what you're going to do when you leave. If that is that.
So, yeah, that's just really just something for the provost to just think about in the future. But I mean, the goal, it really relates to goal one with one of the objectives around focusing on developing an updated curriculum. The one thing that he's referring to is that some majors require internships, some don't. And I think that disparity can be a little bit of a challenge. So like some majors, they focus a lot on the career outcomes, and others, they encourage it, but they don't require it. And if for full-time students, it might be beneficial to require something like that.
Got it. Perfect. I understand.
Ollie Sutherland?
Excuse me, I just wanted to, so last night at the Future of the Fourth Estate, there was the correspondent, his name was Paul Kane. I had an opportunity to ask him a question about, just something about how to kind of keep aware of what's happening. One of the things he mentioned is being aware of what's happening locally. When I first moved here, I moved here for the PA program. Because of my own benefits and situation like that, I ended up switching and I'm now trying to be in a team. But something I've found very remarkable is that between the professors, the mission statement of the school, I find that it seems like there's a lot of investment or the idea of trying to invest back into our communities. I think we had spoken earlier about this. I find that argument to me, I think is most important because it shows the impact that you can have. I learned just today about the public education part of Westfield State, had a role to play in that. I would say that would arguably be the best objective, in my opinion, in essence. I know I mentioned student success earlier when we spoke, but I would say that by enriching our communities and reaching out, we can reinvest and then have kind of create this feedback like I was mentioning. I guess I was just curious what your thoughts on that, if anything, and then what are some complexities with trying to reach back into communities that you guys may have seen as you were working on your strategic plan?
Sure. Well, first I'll say noted, but also it is something that's of high interest of the president. If you notice, we do a lot of things that we hope will bring in the local community. She does a lot to connect with them. We all do a lot to connect with the local community as well. One of the pieces I want you to pay attention to in the plan is this Carnegie designation. And this is something new. All colleges and universities are categorized by a Carnegie designation of one sort or another, typically based on the size of the institution or the mission, as you indicated. They've just developed a new designation, it's elective, that's called Leadership for Public Purpose. When the president discovered this, she said, I want this in the plan. I want us to embrace this. I want us to move in that direction. And leadership for public purpose is important because it touches the engagement with the local community. It also touches the practical experiences that Dan is interested in, because it's not just for the few, but it's focused on every student at the university. And so we would begin looking at, for example, WISE, the new curriculum, and say, are leadership opportunities infused in the WISE curriculum for every new student? How would we do that? And the faculty would go to work on that under the guidance of the provost. And as you move to the sophomore year, junior year, senior year alike, we're constantly looking for those opportunities for students to develop leadership skills or engage in leadership activities throughout the course of their undergraduate. So that's one example of where you might find some of that involvement with the community. The community loves us. Do y'all know that?
Yeah, we do.
I mean, seriously, the community loves this campus and they want to be involved in this campus. The mayor is one of our biggest cheerleaders. In fact, tomorrow morning, 27 mayors are going to be here on campus and their staffs meeting over in Denver. They're going to show up in the dining hall around lunchtime or so. They're going to tour the Ride Center and see what we've got here. So there is real interest out there and there's real engagement. So I can go on, but
Thank you, Dr.
I want you to be.
Did you have something? Evelyn Ayo?
I think one other thing we could do to better prepare students for professional lives is also to have better preparations for graduate school entry exams such as LSATs, MCATs, and GREs. I know other schools in the area have preparations, and I think it's important to just make sure we have them and that they're up to date, perhaps like updated every 5 years to make sure that they're up to the latest standard of those exams, since those LSAT scores, those MCAT scores are extremely important when getting into med school and law school. So.
And we don't have that now?
I'm not sure if we do. I mean, I'm only a first year, so I'm not looking into it.
There's a point, Daniel. So for some we do, it is under the non-credit part of the academics website. So they do offer for some at the undergraduate, like SAT, ACT, but we do have some, I believe, for GR and GMAT.
Thank you. Isabella Moniz? Any further questions, comments, concerns for our speakers today? Awesome. Just a point.
Joseph Bonilla.
Thank you. So the Carnegie distinction, I think that, the focus on leadership for public purpose is really, really great. I think it's a great opportunity. In some of the conversations that I've had with President Thompson and Daniel Courier, just regarding things that we could be doing as a community, it's really obviously integrating the community into what we do as an institution, but also more specifically taking advantage of those pockets of wealth of knowledge that we can experience. We have been collaborating with the Interfaith Center to provide meals at the soup kitchen as a body, and we have a service trip coming up in 2 weeks where we'll do it again. And it's a wonderful opportunity to work in social service and work in I think this is something I shared with President Thompson, but it's a lot of social work students need to get practicum hours, a lot of education students have to get their own practicum hours, nursing students have to get clinicals and so on and so forth. Health sciences, it'd be a great opportunity to utilize that in our own backyard. I mean, when we're thinking about the population that typically, or the demographic that typically is available in the soup kitchen, bless you, is usually individuals who are homeless, housing insecure, food insecure, and that comes with a plethora of health issues, comes with a plethora of resource acquisition issues. So really seeing what's our open front door and really being innovative there. I think that there's a whole bunch of projects that could be done there but haven't been capitalized on. Is there any further? Seeing none, do you have any further?
We just ask you to look at the plan, take the survey, please. If you want to stop by, we'll be out here for the next 2 days out there in the lobby, just taking comments and feedback. And thank you so much for allowing us a few moments here.
Thank you. Alrighty, everyone. Well, just to keep this meeting moving right smoothly along, hopefully we can get out of here by 6:30. I have nothing else for my report. I'll take any questions now.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph?
Wonderful.
Seeing none, thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
You stay over there. All University Committee, Joseph Bonilla.
Alrighty, everyone. Can we take these little notes? How did that go? Did everyone enjoy that?
Yes.
Yes. Great. So excited to be here. So I will say, you know, the major part of all university committee last week was a lot of deliberation. You know, we spent a large chunk of time, you know, deliberating whether or not certain majors and concentrations and different sort of things can be implemented. So that was a major part of the discussion. We talked about a new nursing program during then, and obviously that was very large conversation. But we basically discussed the philosophy department major being added again, I think, because we had it at some point. But they're thinking about re-adding it, and you know, there was questions by the chairman of UCC, and there was a recommendation to do so with a 5-4 vote. There was only a couple of expressed interest in this, but they still, you know, want to make sure that it's available for students who would like to do, you know, join such a program and would be able to fulfill all the requirements. 8 total students have expressed their interest in the major in total, so keep that in mind. And then all other items were just recommended for approval to the president of the university, and you know, that's pretty much it.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph?
Yeah.
Chris Lane.
Hi, Joseph. Thank you for the report. I just wanted to ask, you said in there was a 5-4 decision. My question is 2 parts. So was that 5-4 decision for adding the philosophy major?
Yes.
So can I ask why it was so split? Because I feel like and my guess is that there's not a lot of interest. You said there's only 8 students. So why was it so split? If it's adding a major, it would seem like that could be something that's beneficial.
I can't speak for the individuals who said no, but that's a good question. I think that, you know, obviously the major or minor, whatever it was previously, was kind of, you know, taken away for a reason. And I think some people kind of were like, well, is it worth the, you know, departmental energy sort of things? But if you have any specific questions regarding that, you know, I would definitely suggest reading the minutes of the all university committee meeting to see the specifics of what people said, because I don't remember exactly what specific individuals said. Are there any further questions?
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns for Joseph? Seeing none. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and now for your Board of Trustees report, Daniel Courier.
Good evening, everybody. Again, many thanks to Jen Scumaci and Mike Freeman for being here this evening to grant feedback on the strategic plan. And I certainly encourage everyone outside to please visit their open house that's taking place immediately outside the SGA room over the next 2 days. Last night, I had the great honor of attending a dinner with Carl Hughes, the chief Washington correspondent for the New York Times, and Paul Kane, the senior congressional correspondent for the Washington Post. Following their discussion in Scanlon Hall last night, I hope that some of you were able to attend and enjoy the discussion. If you were unable to attend, the discussion is going to be posted online for the campus community to watch. Tomorrow morning, I'll be meeting with Assistant Director of Residential Life, Kayla Schlems. At Accepted Students Day, I heard from students and their families about the change in location for the Honors LOC for first-year students at University Hall into Davis Hall. Dr. Hearn heard my concerns and has set up a meeting between myself and Kayla in Residential Life. I understand the reasons that were provided by Academic Affairs and Res Life about why this change has been decided, but I am incredibly concerned about how this change will impact admissions for the honors program and for the university at large. Many highly motivated students who would otherwise choose Westfield State University due to the suite style living in their first year would now likely decide to go to another university. Finally, I do want to note that I'll be away at an academic conference beginning this Thursday. We will be back on Sunday. I'll still be available by Teams and email should you need me. Should you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Dan? Ali Sutherland.
Just a point, I was speaking with Dr. Sackett-Taylor about the LOC. It seems like, and you're probably already aware of this, it seems like part of the reason why that there's a movement of where the honor students are going to be staying is that we're trying to reduce the size of how many honor students we have, mainly because we do not have the resources to which to facilitate all the honor students. I think we're at close to 600, and we have the resources for about a little over, or I could say like 250. So that's part of the reason why I think that there's going to be some reforms. I'm not.
Evelyn Ayala.
I will say that there are some suites in Davis. I live in a suite in Davis. I don't know if it's the same thing as the suites in university. It's probably not, but there are some suites in Davis.
I have a point of information on that. So the suites in Davis are for housing accommodation students only. So if you have specific housing accommodations or you're rooming with someone who has housing accommodations, it's the only way that you can live in those suites.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Any further? Seeing none, thank you, Dan. And now for your Vice President's report of student life, Justin Wald.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you to all the senators and keyboard members who went to Relay for Life and participated in this very important and meaningful event. The university in total, from when I last checked Sunday, raised about $7,300, and our team raised $594. I want to especially thank Melissa for her hard work in raising money for our team, as well as Dan and Austin for getting family and friends to donate, being our top 3 fundraisers. So the money raised for this event goes to a very special place to help support cancer research, patient care programs, and makes a huge impact in communities across the country. Secondly, athletics, the counseling center, the Dean of Students Office, Health Services, Residential Life, and SAIL are sponsoring a guest speaker April 24th at 7 p.m. in the Wilson Auditorium. They will be having Chris Herron, a former NBA player with the Denver Nuggets and Boston Celtics, who will be giving an inspiring presentation on his journey navigating the disease of addiction, the road to recovery, and his mission to reach just one person and make a difference. A little fun story about this, Chris Herron actually spoke at my school, I think freshman year, so it'll be interesting to hear from him again. And there are several flyers around the room, so if you need more information, check these out. There's also a QR code for Heron Talks at the bottom, so you can get even more information on that.
Thank you, Justin. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Justin Wald? Christopher Landon?
Hi, Justin. I just want to give a preface for my question. This is not from YICJAC, this is from a dining worker. I'm sure we're all wondering, one, about the ice cream sheet, but two, is the marketplace closing?
What do you mean?
Like, I heard from a dining worker that the marketplace might be closing and moving locations. I just wanted to see if the record can be set straight on that.
I haven't received any information on that. I'm sure that's a thing that Melissa and the dining team would share with Jacob and I if that were to happen, but I haven't gotten any information relevant to any moving. I know we talked about it last year, but I haven't gotten anything concrete, and I doubt they'd do it without consulting the committee first.
Matt DeLeo?
They talk about all options for all eateries and all dining locations and all everything every year at this time. It is not unheard of to have a dining worker assume something's closing. No decisions have been made. They look at everything.
Thank you. Any further information? Daniel Courier?
Yeah, just, I certainly understand the question. Just, I think in the future, just for everyone in this room, we're representing the students here. Just, I think that if you have a legitimate question about, is dining hall closing, I'm hearing this from students. If this is a dining employee issue, that's for their union grievance to deal with.
Point of information, this is from not a student worker, it is from a dining staff member.
And that's the point that Dan was making. Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you. And now for your Vice President's report of academic life, Sarah Harrington.
Hi, everyone. I want to start this off by saying that it's not Jacob's fault that I'm not on the agenda. I was not going to report, and then I had my meeting with the provost, and I felt that some of the stuff people would want to know as soon as possible, and I didn't have time to write up a report. It's not his fault, it's my fault, okay? All right, this might be a little jumbled because I'm jumping around my notes as well. All right, first thing that happened was Lee came with me to the meeting. It was great. We talked about the possible shadowing program and Success Fund money related to that, but it's not going to be possible to use Success Fund money for that because the Success Fund is specifically for supporting at-risk students. So the shadowing program ideally would be for all students. So that's good and bad. Good that we're getting connections with the provost. Ali and I will be setting up a meeting with Junior to talk about plans that they already have in the Career Center that would be similar to shadowing program so that we don't have overlapping ideas and how we could possibly implement it into the Career Center if that's possible. Possibly get Justin's collaboration on that as well because the Career Center is through student life. In terms of the dean searches, the visits for the lunches are being scheduled now. I have a question that I would like everyone to answer at the end. If you were to go to a dean lunch, would you rather it be catered with really good food or be like the regular DC food, but you get to go into a raffle at the end? So think about that while you do it. It would require you to sit in a lunch with possible candidates and kind of ask them questions, have a conversation with us. But this is also like really important to have students there for because they are interviewing us as much as we're interviewing them. Really, these are deans of all the schools, the overarching schools. If they're really good deans, they have other schools that they're looking at. So we need to show that we have really positive student engagement. Students want to interact with our deans because they're going to be interacting with them a lot more than the provost is. They're our point people. So that's really important. Think about that as I continue on. In terms of faculty searches, they've really ramped up since spring break. There's 2 interviews today with the provost, and then he has about 6 or 7 more throughout this week, and these are all supposed to be starting in fall 2025, so that's great. Peer mentors, if you asked me to give the provost your name, I did. If you would like me to give the provost your name, I still can. I asked him for more information regarding what that would look like. He wants to embed them into our FYJ courses, so possibly this could look like, depending on what the professor wants the peer mentors to do. Peer mentors come in to the class, the FYJ class, attend about like once a week. They get to know the students. You're basically talking to students about like independence and things that they are not going to get from a professor. This would include a training that you would have to go to over the summer that you'd be paid for. And then for attending the FYJ course and being the actual peer mentor, he is deciding between either a pay or credits. So some sort of stipend. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely reach out to me. The mentors will be based on the professor. So how much the professor wants you to come into the class will be up to them. But you're there to interact with the student, but then also have the faculty member as someone for you to go to as a connection. The goal is to recruit more students than we need because it tends to happen that students leave, but we also were talking about how this could be a really good transition into orientation leaders. Matt, Delia. Thank you, Lily. So like getting that interaction with freshmen, getting that leadership role, mentor position, I think would be really good to transition into orientation leaders. And then lastly, DocuSign, there is absolutely no progress on that. And it's not going to get on all the forms for the registrar and not going to get on DocuSign by the end of the semester because they're $30,000 that we don't have. So he's dealing with that and talking to the cabinet a lot about that. So thank you for that jumbled presentation.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any questions, comments, concerns to Sarah Harrington? Evelyn Ayala?
Yeah, so would the peer mentors be like TAs of sorts in that way that they would come in once a week and talk with them? Or
This is definitely still
something else?
something that he's curating and discussing. It's going to be based on how much the professor wants you in the classroom. But you are not there to be a TA means teacher's assistant. You are not there to be a teacher's assistant. You are there to be a peer mentor. The peer comes first. So you are there to have the professor is a resource for you, someone that you can go to if you need help. You can't help something with the mentor that you have, mentoree. But you are there to help the peer, not the teacher.
Thank you. Additionally, could you send my name to the?
Yes, I already gave you your name.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Isabella Moniz?
Hi, Sarah, thank you. I was just wondering what program the peer mentoring would be falling under, and like who's going to like really be overseeing the entirety of the peer mentoring program?
That's something that he's really working on. It's going to be an academic affairs project. I'm not sure what like it's gonna fit under in terms of department, but I can get more information on that once it's more of a fleshed out thing.
Another point, or question rather. I also was wondering if the peer mentorship that he's starting now academically could be possibly expanded outside of academics to provide students with resources to them with a peer mentor outside of the classroom that's not solely focused on academics and is focused on other areas of like living on campus and being a college student, because I feel like that's also vitally important to the success and the retention of our students here.
I mean, he did mention when we were discussing it, he was like, the big thing that stood out to me in terms of that is he said, you're not going to be able to access your professor late at night, but you will be able to with these peer mentors. So I think that's part of the goal in it, is to have that that student experience, a campus life aspect on top of academics. But if that, I understand that needs to be emphasized going into a program if you want that. Yeah.
Just one more thing, I'm sorry. I also kind of like advise, I guess, to err on the side of caution with the after hours reaching out to students, because if, let's say, I'm peer mentoring a class of about 25 new students and I'm getting 25 different texts, calls, emails at 10 o'clock at night about assignments or whatever for the class, as a student, we all know like our schedules and our classwork plus things that we're also involved in. I think there needs to be a system in place to help students that are becoming peer mentors be able to mitigate that responsibility in the after hours, so it's not falling back on just one student to answer everyone's questions after hours. That's a problem that happens to a lot of students in leadership roles after hours, so I think we need to really look at that to mitigate that.
I also think just be based on something that you said, I'm writing everything that you said down, but I also think the idea is to have a couple, if possible, more peer mentors per class, not just one, especially for those type of reasons. But again, yeah, advising not too late after hours. I'll do that.
Thank you, Isabella. Christopher Landon?
I just wanted to say, I think the peer mentor program is great. It's something I wish I had as a freshman. I'm sure anyone else wishes the same. Comment about the food, I would certainly go more in the direction of having a catered meal, as opposed to maybe a chance to win something as a raffle. But I feel like if you're having the meal, that just is better. And I love food. I'm Italian and I love food. So
because everyone gets it.
yeah, everyone gets something, and they walk away with something worth. Do you see like, oh, I can walk in on Wednesday at 1 o'clock and just eat something, where you get something special for going. So it's an incentive.
Daniel Career?
Oh, I was just gonna give a point of information about just the peer mentorship in general. So it's not just gonna be academics. So the idea of it was how I talked about it with Dr. Thompson and with the provost, is that it's more so, academic skill building part of it, but also kind of like an after hours advisor. So for instance, I have like I don't know what office to go to, who do I go to, who do I contact, stuff like that.
Thank you. Evelyn Ayel?
I think it's just important for after hours peer mentors to make sure that there's like boundaries set in place with their peers, like, hey, you'll be able to contact me until 10, but after 10 until 6 a.m. I'm not going to be reachable or something. Maybe it could be also beneficial to have like one peer mentor that's not in a single class, but is rather like a designated after hours one for the professor, and then like during like 6 a.m. to 10, they go to the main one, and then at night, the after hours one could take any additional concerns. I don't know, just a thought.
That's good, really good idea. Thank you.
Jacob Constant?
So I'm going to build off that idea is possibly utilizing WSU 360 and how you could set up if you're a tutor, you can set up hours that people can book you. So maybe utilize something like that.
I think
Thank you, Jacob.
the intention is to be as accessible as possible, and honestly, we know that if students have to go into their WSU account, log into WSU, go into the find WSU 360, figure out a time that works for them, they're not gonna do it. So I think the idea is like being just able to send something to them and get it answered. But I understand, like, I will also mention that that could be a resource that they use.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any further questions, comments, concerns for Sarah Harrington? Seeing none, thank you, Sarah. And now for your Vice President's of Finance report. Vice President's report of Finance, I'm sorry.
UCC.
Oh, UCC, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm skipping over. University Curriculum Committee, Melissa Scumaci.
A little bit longer for the call tonight. On Friday, March 21st, the University Curriculum Committee met from 1:40 to 3:30. The meeting started by discussing Theater 255, Searching for Theatrical Truth and Unity. This is a wise inclusive course with a proposal to add the prerequisites of FYJ or English Comp 101. To change the course title and description to accurately reflect updated course content, and this motion passed. The next proposal was for mathematics, advanced math for elementary education. The proposal is to add a residency requirement as the department needs to verify that the proper amount of time and work has been done from the transfer students and that the proper knowledge is gained from the students. Also, 2 math courses such as 153 and 254 need to be taken, or a course chosen that is approved from the math department chair. This motion to move forward passed. Next was the math minor, and this was to update the course description to accurately reflect course learning content. The motion passed. Math pre-calculus is wise inclusive, and within the analysis, practice, and inquiry section, course description to be updated and course credits to change from 3 credits to 4 credits due to the students needing the extra hour to ensure they have the math knowledge and the skills. Students are proving to need the extra support. This course is meant for preparation for calculus. It's not just an odd course to take. This motion to move forward passed. Next was the geography section, GPS 104, the broken plate, our food system. Changes are to add the prereqs of FYJ or English Comp 101. This is wise inclusive. Also to update the course description and title to accurately reflect its learning content. The motion passed. GPS 105, Intro to Community Planning, and GPS 210, Space, Place, and Culture are both wise inclusive, and the proposal is to revise the content to meet the requirements of the learning objectives to WISE program. The motion passed. Marketing 03XX, AI for Marketing and Management is a new course. The prerequisite is for junior and senior status. This course will work with how to properly utilize artificial intelligence in the workplace and in management positions. The motion passed for the course to move forward. Marketing 03XX, Digital Marketing, Problems in Progress, which is also a new course. It will be wise inclusive within the Exploring Complex Issues content. Prereqs will be FYJ or English Comp 101. This course will help students learn and understand the history and the earlier times through current times of how digital marketing works. The motion to move forward passed. We moved on to nursing, which was tabled until further discussion and proper updates. Art 108, My Brand, My Story, Computer Graphics for Art Applications is wise inclusive. The proposal was to update the course title and description to accurately reflect the course content and the learning objectives. This motion passed. Next section was history. History 01XX, stand-up comedy, history and practice is a new course, will be 3 credits, and is proposed for the WISE Gen Ed section and within the creative arts practice, analysis, practice, and inquiry section. The motion to move forward passed. History 278, Women in Latin America is wise inclusive, and the proposal was just to change the course to description to simplify the understanding for students. The motion passed. History 02XX, What is Science is a new course. It will be wise inclusive. In this course, students will examine scientific methods, perspectives, history, philosophy of science, and learn what science is. The prerequisites will be FYJ or Comp 101. The motion to move forward passed. Philosophy 01XX, XX, Philosophy of Humor, is a new course. It will be wise inclusive within exploring complex issues in the arts and humanities section. This course will introduce students to approaches, theories, debates, and formal studies of philosophy of humor, and work to critique philosophy and work to develop one's own humor within. The prereqs will be FYJ or Comp 101. The motion to move this course forward passed. The next meeting will be on April 4th.
Thank you, Melissa. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for Melissa Kuzmeski? Seeing none, thank you, Melissa. And now for your Vice President's report of finance, Austin Morgan.
Hello, folks. We have 9 to go through, so I need you all to lock in and stay with me here. All right. Finance Committee met on Friday, March 21st to go over multiple finance proposals. Some things to keep in mind. All requests were sent in on time and within bylaws. The first proposal we're going over is the class of 2026. So I request that you all look at the class of 2026 one right now. That's what we're doing first. Class of 2026 is looking for on-campus event support in the amount of $50, and the committee voted 2 yeses, 1 abstention, to recommend approval of this request. They have $4,900 in their account. They are spending $1,000 on this event, are trying to be fiscally responsible, seeing as they will be seniors next year, and senior classes notoriously spend a lot of money. Is there a motion to approve this amount?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the class 2026 council request of $50. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor to approve the request?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sweet. Okay. The next request was from the WSKB radio station. I'm gonna give you all a couple seconds before I read the whole thing so we can get there. I know, I'm sorry, guys. They are looking for funds to purchase new headphones and chairs. The materials they currently have are out of date and in disrepair. The amount requested was $784.95. They receive a line item from our budget every single year that is devoted to meeting their licensing and certification requirements. So they don't really have any funds to take care of things like their chairs and their headphones, and that's what they're requesting for. So it's club supplies. The committee voted to recommend funding the amount. 2 yeses, 1 abstention. Is there a motion to approve this amount?
So moved. Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the WSKB radio station's request for $784.95. Are there any questions, comments, concerns on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the request?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions?
That's satisfying.
Motion approved.
The third proposal was sent in from All Out. That's the Transgender Week of Visibility. They are looking for SGA to split costs with the Office of Belonging, Inclusion, and Learning for a week of events planned for, as I just said, Transgender Week of Visibility. They're looking for $1,750 for Miss Christine and the band to come on campus and do a performance. Then an addition of $250 for campus event logistical support. The committee voted unanimously to go over threshold, which would require a 2/3 vote, to recommend supporting this event in the full $2,000 amount. Is there a motion to go over threshold to fund the full $2,000?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to it's been moved and seconded to approve the all-out club proposal for $2,000. Are there any questions, comments, concerns on this motion? Seeing none, roll call. 2/3? No?
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor of approving this request?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okie dokie artichokes. The next group of requests all come from YAL. So I'm going to read through all of them. And then with that, given that there is a large amount of proposals from one organization, I'm going to request that we bundle the proposals together and vote on them, and to accept the recommendations, reject the recommendations. Therefore, is there a motion to bundle all finance proposals pertaining to YAL onto a consent agenda, which would be we do one motion to vote on all of them?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to review the YAL club proposals based off a consent agenda. Are there any questions, comments, concerns on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor to do so?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Sweet. Okay. The first one, they're trying to host an event called Keepers of the Revolution for the 250-year anniversary of the battles of Lexington and Concord. The first proposal was to host Brian Swinehart to do a comedy routine. The committee voted 2 yes, 1 no to recommend approving 50% of this request in the amount of $600. The next request was to host Eric Brakey to come on campus and speak. They requested $550 for this amount, and the committee voted unanimously to approve this amount. The third request was sent in to bring comedian Kevon Moisey on campus to do a comedy routine. Seeing as we had already approved to fund 1 comedian, the committee voted 2 yes, 1 abstention to recommend rejection for this request. The fourth request, was to host another speaker, Katrina Smith. Seeing as we had already voted to approve a different speaker, the committee voted to approve. The committee voted to recommend rejection of this request unanimously. The next proposal was to have catering for the event. And seeing as the event is anticipating 90 to 120 people, and they are anticipating non-students of this university to be attending this event, the committee voted unanimously to recommend rejection of the $200 catering request. Finally, the club felt as though with the amount of people who will be attending this event, retaining a public safety officer to make sure the event runs smoothly is necessary. The figure they came up with is $637.50. Based on the rates of Captain Mike Foyle, $75 per hour, and how many hours long the event is, the figure could be cheaper, seeing as Captain Foyle has the largest salary on the police force. With that in mind, the committee voted unanimously to fund this request in 50%.
What's the total amount?
$318.75.
Total amount for the whole thing.
Oh, it is $1,468.75.
For all proposals.
Yes. As in the ones that were approved.
Is there a motion?
A motion to table.
Second.
It's been motioned to table and it's been seconded. Are there any questions, comments, concerns on this motion? That's the first motion. Seeing none. Oh, Dan.
May I ask why table?
I feel like this proposal, out of all the proposals that we've looked at tonight, is just so large and it's an insane amount of money, and we have not been given adequate time to review the people coming and everything that they've asked for. I don't know about everybody else, but I got this email at 12 something this afternoon, and I did not have enough time to really look through this proposal. So I just feel like it was not enough time for us to make an adequate decision on whether or not to allocate this money.
Joseph Bonilla.
When is this event supposed to be scheduled for?
April 19th.
Christopher Landon?
As someone who was in finance committee on Friday, it was a lot of information to take in, and I do agree with tabling because I feel like you all weren't provided enough time. 5 hours, I mean, for me that's enough time, but I know I understand for all of everyone else it may not be enough time. So I do agree with tabling this decision if that is what the Senate votes on tonight.
Are there any further questions, comments, concerns on the motion? Evelyn Ayala?
I will say this, just a comment, this club is very small. I have accidentally really walked into a couple of their meetings. I don't really agree with their points, I will say. But they're very small, and there's also, they do anticipate non-students. And I think with this large of a budget and them anticipating so little people who go here to participate, I am gonna also recommend rejection for the majority of these.
Thank you. Is that another motion or?
Can I just do a point
Go
of
ahead.
information? I'm not gonna say how much money we have left, but given all the allocations we made recently, our finance pool has been significantly shrunk. I'm not gonna step on your toes and say how much we have left, because I know I did that before. But I just think you should all take that in mind when voting, especially given we have a month of school.
Sure, so to just make sure that we're streamlined on the same motion, you have something now? Go ahead.
If this gets tabled, I can't move forward with processing anything and the event may not happen. I need us to take a recess if needed, but the decision must be made tonight in order for this group to move forward with it.
I will answer any questions anyone has. In addition to, I'm sure Chris is also in the committee, Liam's also in the committee. All three of us can answer any questions about what you guys are, if you have any curiosities.
Okay, Christopher Lannon?
I motion for 5-minute recess.
Okay, we have 2 motions on the table. Let me take these first. Thank you. Isabella Moniz?
Since we have to make a decision tonight, I'm gonna take back my motion, to table.
Okay, rescinded. Motion for a 5-minute recess. Is there a second to that motion?
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor for a 5-minute recess?
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions? 5-minute recess is confirmed. We'll be back at 6:35.
Where did you get that number?
It should be added up. It should be the 318.75.
Well,
I'll mix them up. They're following the protocol. They're following the procedures.
They are following. Recess is over. Recess is over.
Oh, thank you. This one.
Joseph Bonilla.
Hi, everyone. So in the deliberations, I chatted with Matt with the Constitution. This is purely information. As a neutral party, I don't really give my opinion, or try not to when I can. What's it called? Per the Constitution, we have 15 days to approve, 15 days prior to an event, we have to do so to approve any sort of thing. So we're within those margins. Matt has shared that he might be able to do so if we do decide to move to table. He should be able to do so, given that there's about 25 or so days. Obviously, he'll be cutting it close, but if you feel like you need more time to do deliberation, look at the things, do research, whatever it is, I encourage you all to, advocate for that, in your discussion components. Just make a decision that makes the most sense for y'all. Justin Maud.
Right, just to say this, I was gonna say this before, but before we have any motions to table, I just want to point out, would we do this for any other clubs? Have we done this for any other clubs? Not in my time, and that's nearly 3 years here. So I just want to put that on your radars before we do anything, because we haven't done it before. So why do it now? That's kind of singling out one club.
Isabella Monas.
While I understand your point, Justin, I think it's totally valid. However, this is a large financial proposal. I don't think I've ever seen one where we've had multiple documents come to us at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Therefore, that's why I did originally put in that motion to table, and I'm going to do it again.
So is that a motion?
It is.
Second.
To table.
So there's a motion on the table to table these for further discussion at the next SGA meeting. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns on that motion? Justin Mold?
It's not necessarily on the motion, but a bit of information. They could have done it all in one finance proposal. They just didn't. That's the one thing. It's not very,
Sure.
I think everybody makes mistakes sometimes, and that's, if Austin wants to.
Yeah, we break down so the process that is usually so we funded Music Therapy Club of Westfield State for $6,000.
Yep.
We broke down every proposal from their hotel accommodations to their conference registration to their event travel to the food they were eating. We broke down into 4 different proposals, and that's how we brought it to the large body. I understand just because there's 6 pieces of paper in front of your face, it is it's scary, it's a lot of money, and I understand that while there is a bit of unknown, it is my fault. I apologize for not sending it. I made the mistake of not sending it to you guys with enough time. I apologize for that, but I think that the process that they have 6 pieces of paper and 6 requests, it's all one event. It was just broken down by the president of the club.
Okay. Matt DeLea.
Austin, I appreciate you apologizing to your team here. However, it is not required that you send finance proposals out prior to a meeting. For years, back to when Ryan Biersman was a senator in this room, he would show up and have the finance proposals here. That's why you have a finance committee, so that they can help make a decision and recommendation. So I don't want Austin to feel like he has to apologize for sending something at 12 o'clock tonight.
Thank you. All right, Evelyn.
Yeah, so I would just like to say that I think, for one, funding police officers for this specific event is absurd, especially when there are events that would be more likely to cause things needing police officers, such as the All Out concert that we just talked about, since that involves, a protected minority class. This is simply people with politics that a lot of people disagree with. Also, I think that we shouldn't be using, I'm not in the finance committee, so I can't provide an official recommendation, but I will say, I don't think we should be using university funding for an event that is mainly comprised of non-students. And it's not to say we shouldn't allow 1 or 2 non-students to come, but when they only have 10 to 12 regular attenders of their club, why should we be funding an event that is primarily a non-university related event that just happens to be taking place on campus?
Isabella Monas, thank you. Evelyn.
Yeah, I echo that. Thank you for saying that. I agree. If we're going to be discussing a huge finance proposal, and it's not so much the amount of documentations or how they structured their documentation, I don't care. It's a lot of money that's not going to our students. And as the Student Government Association, to me, that doesn't seem right. And that's my biggest issue is that if we were given this and it's a lot of money, it's not going to us directly, a majority of us. And also, I haven't had the opportunity to really look at the people who are coming here onto this campus that we are paying for to come here. And if I'm going to be paying someone to come here, I'd like the opportunity to be able to review them. That's all.
Thank you. Christopher Lennon?
Evelyn, I completely agree with what you said. Same with Isabella. I also think that, as someone who's in the room, sorry, that was bothering me. As someone who was in the room, it felt like they were thinking of something and they weren't telling us what it was. That being the security fee, maybe they had this notion that they believe that the event's going to get a little rowdy or out of control just because they think that the campus has this notion of them being sort of an organization that many people don't like. Choosing my words very carefully here. But I think that was what they weren't telling us, and I think that's what they were thinking. I just think that covering security is, we don't do it for a cab bingo that has twice as many people. I mean, I was in cab for 2 years, I would know. And we don't do it for class council bingo. We do it very minimal for spring concert, for police officers at least.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Jacob Constant.
What I was gonna say is that I'm not on the finance committee. We elect the finance committee at the beginning of the year, or at the first full SGA meeting. And these are the people who we put in charge of deciding whether or not things should be approved or not. And they're making a recommendation to us saying something should be approved and something shouldn't be approved. Personally, I trust our finance committee, and if they think that this is what's gonna be best for the student government, then that's what I believe in.
Thank you. Matt DeLeo.
YAL is not demanding an officer present. It was upon recommendation of public safety. It is a long weekend on top of a holiday weekend. They minimize officer coverage that weekend. So to make sure that there is plenty of coverage on campus, due to a number of people coming to campus, they have been asked to get security. It is not because of rowdiness. It is not because they are trying to protect themselves from outsiders. It is simply because the department needs another staff member if that many people are coming into the campus.
Thank you. Any further? Ali Sutherland?
This is just something that I spoke to Boston about, completely different from what we were talking about. If we vote yay, we are saying that we agree with them. I was confused about this, so the things that they, correct me if I'm wrong, the things that they said that we shouldn't pay for, we'd be agreeing to not pay for those things as well. So.
Yeah, so basically how the motion goes is we rejected half of what they asked for and accepted half of what they asked for. It's all a recommendation. All the motion is that we started with was to accept the recommendations we made.
Okay, thank you. Evelyn.
Could we move to vote yes or no to different ones than the recommended ones?
You can vote to amend.
Okay, a couple things here. I appreciate everyone participating in this discussion. I think it's really important that we streamline this discussion. To your point, you're more than able to make a motion to amend the motion and divide it into parts depending on what you want to amend. I see that there's a bit of tension happening here, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. It's our job as a Senate to make a decision collectively in a discussion. So obviously some people disagree, some people agree, blah, 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 so on and so forth. That's totally okay. That's what this room is made for, but I don't think that we should be nitpicking back and forth at each other to improve points or whatnot. Some people say they need more time and we need to respect that decision, and some people feel like there's adequate information out there and people trust the Finance Committee. Per the charge that we have here, the Finance Committee will make a recommendation and the Senate has the final decision. So if you guys disagree, that is what it is. If you guys agree to do the recommendation, that is what it is. And it's important for us to make sure that we are staying level-headed in these conversations, because I see a lot of tension, a lot of let me say this, let me say that, and let's just make sure that we're having a calm, collective conversation, because I will not be recognizing anyone who's going to raise up these tensions. Thank you. Justin Wald.
Could you just go over the total that we'd be giving them if we followed the Finance Committee's recommendation?
$1468.75.
Thank you.
All right, are there any further questions, comments, concerns on the motion to table for further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor to move to table for further discussion? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
No. Abstentions?
Same.
Okay.
Can we do a roll call?
Point of privilege. Is this a roll call vote?
Just so I know how many people.
Just for the last motion?
Yes, yes.
All right, respond with aye, nay, or abstain. Nicholas Palumbo.
Nay.
Anderson Delaire.
Nay.
Isabella Moniz.
Aye.
William Connor.
Abstain.
Travis McLaughlin. Rahul Rosario. Brenda Giuliani.
I'm sorry, yes or nay?
Yes.
Aviana Lee Salters. Jacob Trainer. Cody Hoisington.
Nay.
Sophia Rubencheck.
Nay.
Melissa Kuzmeski.
Aye.
Raymond Croto.
Nay.
Barney Garcia.
Nay.
Ethan Mollinson. Ali Sutherland.
Nay.
Troy Onoso.
Nay.
Angelina Casella.
Nay.
Marissa Montero. Isabella Centrella.
Aye.
SAC Representative. Christopher Lannon.
Aye.
Irina Mahita.
Abstain.
Penny Rosas. Evelyn Aiello.
Nay.
Dominic Zyko. Peru Sharma. Joseph Bonilla.
Abstain.
Justin Wald.
Nay.
Sarah Harrington.
Nay.
Austin Morgan.
Abstain.
Lorraine Fernandez.
Abstain.
Isabella.
Abstain.
Jacob Constant. Nay. Ethan Haynes. Danny.
Nay. Vote. Is there a new motion?
I motion to accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Are there any questions, comments, concerns on this motion? Evelyn, you said you wanted to amend the motion. Is that still stand?
Yes.
What is your amendment?
My amendment is to deny all of them.
Okay.
That is.
That's okay. So what will happen here is, since you want to deny it, we'll just vote in favor of it, and there'll be the yeses and the nays, and that'll carry that over. Are there any further questions or comments or concerns on that? Nicholas?
Are we doing a roll call vote for this?
No.
No? All right.
All right. I mean, if you want to.
Do I have to make a motion for that?
You would.
Yeah, I'm gonna motion for the roll call vote.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of roll call?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Jacob?
Nicholas Palumbo.
Aye.
Anderson Delaire.
Aye.
What was it?
Aye.
Isabella Moniz.
No.
William Connor.
Abstain.
Travis McLaughlin.
Aye.
Rahul Rosario. Brenda Giuliani.
Abstain.
Aviana Lee Salters. Jacob Trainer. Cody Hoisington.
Aye.
Sophia Rubencheck.
Nay.
Melissa Kuzmeski.
Abstain.
Raymond Croto.
Aye.
Barney Garcia.
Yes.
Ethan Mollinson. Ali Sutherland.
Yes.
Troy Onoso.
Nay.
Angelina Casella.
Aye.
Marissa Montero. Isabella Centrella. SAC Representative. Christopher Lannon.
No.
Irina Mahita.
Abstain.
Benny Rosas. Evelyn Aiello.
No, nay.
Dominic Zyko. Peru Sharma. Joseph Bonilla.
Abstain?
Justin Wald.
Yes.
Sarah Harrington.
Abstain.
Austin Morgan.
Abstain.
Lorraine Fernandez.
Abstain.
Elizabeth Mercer.
No.
Jacob Constant. Abstain. Ethan Haynes. Danny Courier.
Yes. Yes.
The motion to approve Young Americans for Liberty's club proposal for $1,000 or $1,478.75 has been approved. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Austin Morgan? Seeing none, thank you, Austin. And your executive secretary report, Jacob Constant.
a great weekend. I'm happy to report that the new constitutions have been given out to everyone. They are very nice. Thank you, Matt. I would also like to note that I forgot to include in the email that went to campus about the commuter council, about the elections. You can run for the positions. I just forgot to include it. Signature papers were released on Friday, and people have been working hard getting their signatures. I heard that there's many more signature papers in the box. I'll be getting them afterwards. Please keep in mind that they are due April 4th at 5 p.m. No signature papers will be accepted past that time. For students running for executive council positions who are contested, contested in their elections, there will be a debate on April 9th in Wilson Auditorium at 5 p.m. Then the voting period for elections will be on April 15th through April 16th. And I will say it again, if you would like to run for any of the executive positions up here, feel free to ask us about any of our roles so you can learn more about them. And if you have any questions regarding elections or anything, please let me know.
Thank you, Jacob. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Jacob Constant? Angelina Casella?
Could you just say the date and time again?
Which ones?
For the debate?
The debate.
The debate will be on April 9th. April 9th at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns? Christopher Landon? Yeah, so last year, I think the most people we had in a debate was 2. What do we do if there's 3 people running for positions? Is it gonna be another podium, or we have to switch people out? I'm not sure about that. We'll figure it out. Okay. Thank you.
I was going to say, point of information, you'll probably just have three people up there at a time answering the same questions. It's just like you see in other debates online.
Logistics. Dan?
Just for a reminder for everybody, so I know there's a few people running, no campaigning is allowed until after Jacob sends out an email to you. And also just as another reminder from the new constitution, you are able to endorse other people running for certain offices. Just as a reminder for those that do have access to your class council Instagram, SGA Instagram, or any official pages, please do not post endorsements there. It can only be on your personal page. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
And now for your senior class report, Nicholas Palumbo.
Hey all. So first off, our 50 Days Toast is this Thursday at the Westfield River Brewing Company from 7 to 9. The tropical themed event features Lads Pizza, ice cream cups, and the recording of senior videos to be played at graduation, as well as a fly-in from a special guest. Buses start in front of Scanlon at 6:45 and run back and forth from the brewery all night long. If you're part of the junior class, if you want to be an assistant at the event, please see me afterwards. Secondly, our senior send-off, part 1, a night at Foxwoods, has been sent out to seniors as well as the RSVP form. It's a great opportunity for seniors to get off campus for a night of fun. This will be Friday, April 4th, with the bus leaving at 5 p.m. sharp from Scanlon. If you're clicking on the link, you may have to refresh it the second time or the third time it works. Lastly, our senior signs and cords are still for sale, so pass that message along to all of your senior friends. And the sales close for that on April 11th. That's the same day as Owl Ball, Friday, April 11th. Have a splendid week and enjoy the opening day of the MLB season Friday.
Thank you, Nick. Are there any questions, comments, concerns for Nicholas Palumbo? Seeing none, thank you, Nick. And now for your junior class report, Travis McLaughlin.
Happy spring, everyone. Speaking of spring, the class of 2026 welcomes you to April showers, bingo hours. Join us from 8 to 10 p.m. on Friday, April 4th during the late night at DC for some bingo, tacos, and a grand prize of Nintendo Switch, among many other fun prizes. We welcome all students from all classes, and we'll even sponsor commuter meal swipes. So you should join us for that. So please come on April 4th and join us for bingo and tacos. Did I mention those tacos? Be tacos.
Thank you, Travis. Are there any questions, comments, and concerns for Travis McLaughlin? Sophia Rubencheck?
Do you mind repeating the time, please?
8 to 10 p.m. Friday, April 4th.
Are there any further questions, comments, or concerns?
Tacos.
Irene Mahida?
Please follow our social media, just as an incentive. Stay tuned for more information regarding that.
You
Our
might,
legal event.
you might get a second bingo card if you're following Junior Class Council. Maybe,
Great.
if you're lucky.
Thank you, Travis. Are there any further questions? Christopher Lynn?
Point of information, that's at Westfield State _2026 on Instagram. I hope I'm right on that.
Thank you. Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Travis. Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business? Announcements? Ali Sutherland?
I know we're running a little late, so I'm only gonna give the one event. So veteran and military service events, we have a bunch coming up for the rest of this year. But this Friday, we have the 80th anniversary of Iwo Jima from 10 to 12 at the Military Community Excellence Center. If you don't know where that is, it's in Bates. There's the wooden owl, so it's like right behind there, go down the staircase, and you'll see us. We're gonna be having some goodies and things like that. There's also a bunch of free police merch, if that's your thing, cups and shirts. I know we're nearing the end of the semester. Please make sure everyone's taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you, friends, families. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Sarah Harrington?
I'm gonna pull a little Laura comment. That's stuff that could be reported on. Veteran Military Affairs can give a report. We would love to hear you up here. So next time, no, not to point you out in a negative way. It meant to be in like a positive, like, yay, good job, but go, yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Evelyn Aiello?
Also for announcements, Outlaw is coming up. Tickets you should buy now. I and the committee are working hard on it, and we made some funny advertisements last Thursday. So yeah, just get your tickets now while you can if you intend on going.
Thank you. Are there any further? Christopher Lynn?
I had a great opportunity today to look at some old archived minutes over there. I would encourage all of you as senators and even exec members. I know we've all looked at those minutes every once in a while. It's a great way to figure out how problems were solved back then and even problems are still going on now and what we can do to solve them. So if you have time anywhere at all, I encourage looking at some minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any further? Nicholas Palumbo, take us away.
Hang on, I want to reword something. If you foresee yourself on the junior class council next year, I want to see you after the meeting to help volunteer at this 50 days dose. And there's 52 days left.
Thank you. Roll call.
Nicholas Palumbo. Here. Anderson Delaire.
Here.
Isabella Moniz.
Here.
William Connor.
Here.
Travis McLaughlin. Here. Rahul Rosario. Brendan Giuliani.
Here.
Aviana Lee Salters. Jacob Trainer. Cody Hoisington.
Here.
Sophia Rubencheck.
Here.
Melissa Kosmeski.
Here.
Raymond Croto.
Here.
Barney Garcia.
Here.
Ethan Mallinson. Ali Sutherland.
Here.
Troy Onoso.
Here.
Angelina Casella.
Here.
Marissa Montero. Isabella Centrella.
Here.
SAC Representative. Christopher Lannon.
Here.
Irina Mejito.
Here.
Benny Rosas. Evelyn Aiello.
Here.
Dominic Zyko. And Peru Sharma.
If there is no additional business, I call to adjourn the March 25th meeting of the Student Government Association until April 1st.
Up there, if you have any questions, right in.
Sarah.
Yeah.
I would go to your
Yeah, that was.
Sorry, I apologize.
No, you're good.
Yeah, we got it. Funny meeting. I know.